What up? Good morning. We got a stream this morning. We've got Bart Schilders and Tahsin Lake coming to you live this morning. I'm getting my phone set up as the screen share function I'm still having trouble with. Trying to download some new software. OBS, I think, is what I need to make these streams work with screen share. But if not, you know what? We will still be bringing it to you. Hopefully this setup works. Please feel free to leave a comment if there's something I could do better as far as the way I have my phone. But we'll just do the best with what we've got this morning, and we'll make it work. We've got, looks like someone's coming in as FDR. I'm actually not sure who is who. I might get it. A good feel for it though once the other character gets in, depending on who it is. But yeah, we've got a morning match, a little bit different time than usual. It's bright and early here in Lebanon, Virginia, coming to you live. But of course, across the pond, Tahsin and Bart are, I believe it's afternoon there. So yeah, pretty cool international match we've got going on this morning. I'm pretty excited for this one. We've got a couple different contrasting styles, at least compared to the last time I played Bart. I'm not sure what strategy he normally uses, but he went to national groups last time I played him. Bart says his 270 app is slow loading, so he'll be here in just a second. So it looks like Tahsin is playing FDR today, and we will see who Bart is playing. And again, this is the opening match for the RHL for these guys. Should be a really interesting match. Tahsin, the defending champ, looking to hold on to his title, and then Bart, who is one of his division opponents. That division is stacked. Yeah, Bart's playing Trump 2020, it looks like. But yeah, there are some stacked divisions in the league. And Tahsin and Bart are no exception. They have just an absolutely insane division. I do not envy them, and I am super curious to see how it shakes out. I'd say this will be a really interesting indicator. Now again, going with Trump, I wouldn't be surprised to see Bart go national groups. At least that's how he has played the one time I played him. He could go evangelicals right here, but he may not. We'll see. I'm not sure what his usual strategy always is, but I would be curious to see how it shook out if he did go national groups, since we don't see that too often in these high-level matches. But Bart is certainly a high-level player, absolutely. So I think there's a pretty good chance we see Trump go like Old South out of the gate, maybe? I don't know. I could definitely see FDR playing through Texas or California. Probably Texas, but we'll see. They could both go after Texas. That'd be kind of fun. Or there's a very good chance they both save, or one of them saves here. So we will see what happens. Okay. FDR puts his claim on Florida, and then Trump goes Old South, it looks like. So no big surprises. Well, actually, I should say, Florida kind of is a surprise to me with FDR. But hey, why not? He does have a swing state bonus, and that can go well into manufacturing. So why not? And then Bart goes Old South with Trump, which I know is actually one of Tahsin's strategies. Quite often he plays as Ben Carson and will take the Old South first. I think he was one of the first guys that was really doing that on a consistent basis. So so we'll see if Tahsin's kind of comfortable with the reverse being done to him, which I've seen him play against people that play Old South, and I think he'll be just fine. All right, I'm going to check the comments real quick, so I'm going to kind of mess up my... Looks like Bart is watching. He's tuned into the stream, so he's got it going on a couple devices. Probably won't want to listen to my commentary. There's a good chance I will suggest something that will probably steer people in the wrong direction. But nevertheless, I'm going to offer what little expertise I have to any viewers we've got going on. You know, Bart's in line to get a bonus uncontested this turn. We'll see if Tahsin decides to pressure him in those Old South states. I wouldn't suspect. Well, he probably will in a couple, but he'll have to spend if he wants to overtake in states that aren't going to benefit him, as Bart chose to go for some of the Old South states that are not as flexible as far as bonuses. Oh, I better do my spin. I bet they're waiting on me. Oops. But yeah, he chose states like Georgia and South Carolina that just have the swing state and African American bonus. Okay, it looks like Tahsin just continues to go after that swing state bonus. He has got his eyes on the prize with that. And then Bart picks up the Old South bonus, and Tahsin does not pressure any of his states. So let's see. Florida, Ohio, Wisconsin, and New Mexico. He will need all of those in order to get the swing state bonus. And we did see Tahsin pressure in Ohio. So I'll be curious to see if FDR just goes up 1 pip. He won't have a ton of money left over. He'll spend Florida and Wisconsin and New Mexico, and he should have about 200. Yeah, he'll have about 200 left over. So he could spend up to about 4 in Ohio, which would be, I would imagine, plenty enough. But we'll see how hard, Bart decides to pressure, if he decides to take that bonus away from him, or at least, prevent him from getting it, or if he allows him to go forward with the swing state bonus. I'm not sure where Bart is going to go from here. He's got a lot of options. When I play Old South, I like to get Florida if I can. You have options to get African American pretty quick. If you get all the Old South states and Florida, that's enough for African American. You've also got some swing states involved in the Old South. But with Tahsin already strongly in Florida, I could see him going a different route. And I'm going to have to remember to make my spins earlier. These guys are probably sick of waiting on me. Trump low spins here. Goes North Carolina. And again, I'll put it in the comments. I believe this is right, at least. We've got Bart, who is Trump, and Tahsin is FDR. Sweet. All right, and we will continue to move forward. I'm going to actually input my turn in a timely manner this turn, so the guys don't have to wait around on me. And, you know, Bart decides to use some of that Old South to kind of protect his interests, make sure he, you know, gets in a couple more Old South states if he were to be pressured, which I believe he was there. Yep, he was pressured in, yeah, he was pressured just in Mississippi. So Tahsin gave him something to think about. And these guys are moving quick on their turns now that I'm not holding them back. All right, so we've got Trump expanding into Texas, and we have FDR expanding into New York. So yeah, hasn't been a lot of conflict so far. Not been too much, you know, jostling over the same states. Looks like they've kind of forged their own paths so far, and we'll see how their bonuses are strung together, and should leave us with a chance for, you know, some key states coming up, as I'm sure FDR, you know, is thinking about maybe African American, thinking about town and gown, thinking about high tech. Trump thinking about oil and gas, thinking about manufacturing. We'll start to get some of the same states being fought over here in just a couple turns. And they're kind of letting each other do their own thing. Not too much pressure. Both of them have done a good job, you know, defending their groups, with, you know, expansion into other states in those groups. So, you know, it's pretty straightforward. You know, they're both in New Mexico. I don't see that being stolen quite yet, and then they're both in Mississippi, and I don't see that being stolen either. So we're just kind of waiting and seeing who will start to pressure first. But right now we just have a state group race, just kind of stringing together groups. Let's check out the state groups right now. Trump with Old South and manufacturing, and FDR with swing states and town and gown. He does get town and gown. I wasn't paying attention through Iowa, New Hampshire, and Arizona. So using those swing states to his advantage, and you know, that swing state money has helped him get that town and gown money early. Meanwhile, Tahsin using North Carolina and Indiana to just barely capture the manufacturing base. And we have a longer turn this time. They're actually taking a second. So some calculation being going on, some thinking about how they're going to play this turn. And Trump low spins here. Meanwhile, FDR decides to go into California. Pressure in North Carolina. FDR expands to that town and gown, as well as high tech a little bit. Kind of, you can see him eyeing it up just a bit. FDR into California. So he's put the pressure on Trump here. Trump needs to do something. If FDR were allowed to get that high tech, that could be quite a few bonuses that come his way. Or if he's able to get California, he's looking at Latino, he's looking at high tech, He's looking at maybe export. But Trump has the money. He did decide to save that turn. But he's got to be worried. FDR he does not have enough money to pip up twice in California because he's bringing in swing states, he's bringing in town and gown. So that 476 cannot be spent all in California. So, Tahsin has a little bit of time to make a move on one of his states before he's able to get those bonuses. But being the first one in a state really puts you in an advantageous position because you're worried he's going to double tap. Or if you're thinking about double tap in Texas, you can't do that with the clash being a possibility. So you gotta kind of wait and pick your moment to make a move. And it could be too late if FDR is able to get his bonuses. So there's the pressure. He decides to pressure Florida, which makes a lot of sense. It's the easiest one to pressure in terms of cost. And FDR, who is Tahsin, goes hard into Virginia, anticipating a move from Trump there, and he picks up the African American bonus. So with that Florida and New York combo, he just needed a little bit more on top of that, and he gets that bonus. So FDR looking like he's in great shape right here. We'll see how Bart responds. I bet I've got their names mixed up. But anyways, we've got Bart as Trump 2020. We've got Tahsin as FDR. And FDR really threatening right now with California. And also Trump threatening in Florida. I think FDR is going to have a decision here because my guess is he left himself just enough money to double tap California right here. He's got 576. No, he couldn't have left himself enough money because, yeah, he can't. No, he went for the African American bonus, so he did not leave himself enough room to double tap California. So he will not get those bonuses this turn that come with California. So will he spend his money defending Florida? He does not need Florida for swing states. He does need it for African American. And he does not spend. And Trump does overtake. Okay, excellent still there in North Carolina. Trump spends money to defend, but doesn't quite spend enough. All right, so Trump steals African American, and FDR gains the high tech. So Tahsin sitting with the high tech, that'll help him in California. And he's pretty uncontested in most of his high tech states. He might start to pressure he's in Michigan. Meanwhile, Trump had a steal in Florida. It was not enough to take away swing states. But it was a good steal. It takes away African American. It flips it to Trump, who's got the Old South, got all these states down here. He's got Illinois along with that manufacturing bonus, as well as Michigan. So this African American bonus is definitely in the balance, though. A state like Michigan, a state like North Carolina could have that flipping back and forth. Trump, Bart has the current advantage, but we'll see how it shakes out. We'll see if FDR continues to try to hold on to or recapture that bonus, or if he pivots to California. And we're on turn 9, so we're moving along pretty quickly. And FDR goes hard into Michigan, using that high-tech money to try to recapture that African-American bonus. Defends in North Carolina. So I believe FDR is likely going to recapture that African-American bonus this turn. That is big for him, as we have had a fairly even match so far. And I expect it to be even right down to the wire. Check in on our bonuses. African American does flip to FDR. Meanwhile, Trump has picked up oil and gas. So I'd give FDR a slight advantage, or a slight edge here with the bonuses. He also still has California hanging in the balance, ready to pip up, and leaving it on that first rung, it kind of prevents your opponent from making too much of a play. Maybe they go 1 to go even with you, but you feel pretty confident they're not going to go 2, as they're worried about you going 1, and they don't want to get that $400K clash, which of course neither of these players have a ton of money. They've been spending a lot of their money at least every 2 turns. Haven't seen any 3-turn saves yet. And FDR positioned nicely right now, I'd say, to probably win, but it's a little early. Of course, we've got a 55 EV California that if something like that changed hands, our EV count would look way different than it does. And we still got a long way to a ballot. We don't have many states locked in. These guys did not go after the same state groups, so a lot of these states aren't really even close to, like, they're not being defended, they're not being pressured. So until that happens, it's going to be a while before somebody feels the need to lock in a lot of their states. We've got Michigan and North Carolina currently locked in, giving us 29 electoral votes locked in. But I'm sure North Carolina is going to, we had Michigan and Virginia, locked in. I anticipate North Carolina to follow suit here. And then after that, it could be a second before we see a lot of states. Well, I stand corrected. There goes Arizona. FDR may be looking for a clash. And a big steal from Trump in Mississippi. Wow. FDR did see that coming. That Mississippi pressure was put on him forever ago in the Old South. And, FDR remembers that, decides to go for the steal, but Trump sees it coming and is able to defend that. Flipping African American is going to be pretty tough right now, though. He's got a chance in Tennessee, a chance in Maryland. No, he's just got to maintain Maryland. Yeah, I think Trump is going to have a really hard time trying to get that African American bonus. So we'll see. We've got a few state groups hanging in the balance. Latino, Trump is eyeing that up. FDR trying to defend against that. Agriculture should go to Trump as well. And then that will leave export. Export's pretty well up in the air right now. I think a state like Illinois could kind of end up being a big factor in a game like this. It's gonna get it could help with Latino, it could help with ag, it could help with export. But I mean, there's a lot of ways to go about that, and that may be too obvious of a way, as Trump has already built a pretty big lead in Illinois. FDR would have to think maybe it'd be risky to make a play on it. And we are starting to get some states locked in. We've got 28 plus 16, 34, 44, looks like 55, 61 states locked in. So we're starting to edge closer to a ballot. We've got some of these mid-range states starting to lock in. And I really see this going either way. Got two excellent players in Bart, who is Trump 2020, and Tahsin, the reigning RHL champ, who is FDR in this match. FDR does get California, which I haven't been. When I looked at the state bonuses, I didn't really take that into account. He's got to be pretty close on export and Latino himself. Steals Maryland. And we're seeing some pressure from Trump. Yeah, excellent steal there. Barely avoided a clash, and instead takes over Maryland. Let's see what that does to our state group. So we've got them all filled in now. Latino goes Trump. But there is some room for jostling that bonus between Nevada and New Jersey. Illinois, it's not out of the realm of possibility for that to flip. Oil and gas. I mean, we've got a lot of pressure there. Could we see that flip? FDR is in Oklahoma. He's in Louisiana. I think that's probably securely Trump's right now. Agriculture looks pretty securely Trump's. Again, an Illinois flip would go a long way, but it's pretty risky. Haven't seen much pressure in the big states, you know. Florida's been sitting there. Maybe FDR goes for that here. He's got a little bit of cash, but certainly it'd be a risky play. If he did, though, it would wipe Trump's bonuses, you know, kind of knock his feet out from under him a little bit. He'd have to regroup. But really, he'd only lose Latino and ag. So it actually wouldn't absolutely decimate him to lose Florida. But that's got to be something FDR is thinking about. Still a lot of empty states. Could see a ballot here in the next few turns. But it's hard to say for sure how much either of these guys want to see a ballot. The state groups are pretty even, so they may not, either of them may not be too anxious to see a ballot. My guess is FDR, with the electoral advantage right now, is probably looking for a ballot a little bit more. But that could that could fade away pretty quickly if Trump were to go in a lot of these states that are empty. I'd have to give FDR the advantage right now, but still plenty of time left, and it's certainly not wrapped up. Let's see what key states are out there. I mean, Latino, certainly. Illinois, New Jersey, Nevada, all those could flip. Colorado could flip now that Trump has oil and gas. Manufacturing could flip. FDR has gotten all of these manufacturing states. Hasn't gotten Texas. But if he were to flip in Illinois or in Indiana, that would be enough. And then, of course, pick up in Kentucky. So FDR eyeing up that manufacturing, and he has a big 40% bonus. Okay, we've got a big spin from FDR. Does not spin in Florida. Does not spin in Illinois. I bet we'll see him in Indiana. There it is, yep. And he does take that manufacturing bonus. I assume he's going to pip up in Kentucky. Well, he doesn't. I don't know the math on that. I guess he will get it with Indiana. He doesn't need Kentucky. So that's my bad. Yep, he'll already get that, I assume. Well, no, maybe he won't. I don't believe he will. Trump looking for that ballot, it looks like. And we're starting to see that tipping point in the match where the focus shifts from, state group bonuses, getting the money, to all of a sudden I need electoral votes. Still kind of keeping the money in mind because we probably have maybe a round or two left before a ballot. But certainly that mindset shifts to I need to think about electoral votes. I believe we might have had a miscalculation there. I liked that play on manufacturing by by Tahsin there as FDR. But I think he probably meant to get Kentucky while he was at it, to get that manufacturing bonus. So nice steal in Indiana, though. Does take the manufacturing away from Trump. And Trump, he goes in these states looking to be the first one in to kind of even up that electoral vote count. But FDR looking really solid with his bonuses. He's got the bigger ones. He's got African American, he's got high tech, and he has swing. Those are all 100K bonuses. So I really like the shape, the position he's in. Certainly it's not over, but FDR is bringing in a little more money. He's got a little bit more initiative in a lot of these states. And FDR is about to flip here into, getting in these states, trying to make sure he's where he needs to be to get the EVs when a ballot comes. FDR pressuring Georgia, locks in Indiana. And I wasn't paying attention. There may have been a good reason he didn't get Kentucky last turn. Big steal in Tennessee. I wonder if Trump's... Let's see what that does to our bonuses. Yeah, he steals African American. That's something I hadn't really touched on. I didn't see him making a play for that, but there it was. He stole Tennessee, He stole Washington, D.C., and that may have been just enough for that bonus. Yeah, it was. Absolutely. That steal in D.C. made all the difference. So well calculated by Bart to grab that bonus here at the end. Tahsin does get that manufacturing bonus. And I should have been paying better attention. Are we on a ballot right here? Let's see, 23, 33, 39, 49, 60, 75, 78, 90. Yeah, we should have a ballot here. This should be a ballot. I don't see any states unfilled. Yeah, Super makes a great point in the comments that a lot of the manufacturing states are locked in. So the bonus doesn't really do a ton for FDR here. But, you know, those Kentucky, Indiana, those states always seem to come into play with the ballots. Both good value states. Of course, Indiana's already locked in. But maybe that helps defend one of those. But, yeah, it's fairly minimal at this point. Those states have been sought after pretty hard. So we have a ballot right here. I'm pretty sure. I didn't see the screen come up, but I'm pretty sure we should have a ballot. Turn 14 ballot, and where can we look for some flips? FDR's looking pretty good, and Trump really doesn't have a strong hold on a lot of these low EV states in the West. I think it's going to be pretty tough to wrestle this one away from FDR. Got to be careful in Ohio, Kentucky, Nebraska, it looks like. Steele in Maine. I think it's too much, unfortunately. There's a flip in Minnesota to FDR, flip in Montana. FDR just has too much money. Nebraska does flip towards Trump. Ohio does not flip. Oklahoma does flip. And that should about do it. Yep, and there's our ballot. FDR plays a beautiful game. Strings together bonus as well. And not a ton of fireworks in this game. Not a ton of jostling. There was an important African-American bonus. Trump actually ended up stealing it, but it was a little too late. And Tahsin will take it home. He's out to defend his RHL title, and he's off to a good start. Big key win over Bart Schilders, who I think as a newcomer to the league is certainly a player that raises eyebrows. People are you know he's going to be good. So Tahsin getting a key win in his first division match in the RHL. Tune in. There's going to be a couple more matches this week, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure the times on those. But we've got the first week underway in the RHL, and we've got a lot of high-profile matches. This one was certainly a good one. And I look forward to presenting more and more of those matches. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll do it again sometime.